Hey, so I wanted to clarify and continue the conversation on some things that I've said on this page and that we have been discussing. So when I say things like protest is not enough, voting is not enough, like a lot of people just have a knee-jerk reaction that I'm saying don't do either of those things. And let me be clear, I am not saying that at all. I'm saying we need to do everything. However, so it's currently the 6th of November, and over the past weekend, there was a giant march in support of an end to what is going on in the Middle East, and it was amazing. It was beautiful. People from all over showed up at Washington and, made their voices heard as a show of solidarity. And people who are there have said they'd love to see how many people are standing up for them and, fighting against their governments and all that sort of thing. And as that is beautiful, for the emotions, for a show, for a display, it's great. But strategically, what did it do? And I am saying that it is important that we are emotionally and that we are verbally, that we are using the fire that we have to just stand up and say something. But we need movements, not moments. And the problem with big marches is that they usually just turn up into being moments. And the reason that I push back on voting and protesting is because those are the primary ways that we have been taught to engage with the system. And I think that they are similar in that in the end, they are asking. It is not the people using power. It is the people requesting that something be changed by the people in power. It is essentially us saying that the power is legitimate, that the people in power are in charge of us, and we're okay with that. And what I am inviting everyone to do with all my messaging is to say, no, that's over. We don't want anyone speaking for us. We want to speak for ourselves. We want to govern ourselves. Voting is asking. Protesting is asking. Now, you know that I never recommend anything illegal, but I will say that people who stopped that boat from leaving the dock, that's a different thing than protesting. They weren't asking. The difference between direct action and protesting is something that needs to enter the conversation right about now. This is why I talk about prepping, about gardening, about boycotting, because these things are not asking. These are us saying, this is our power. We are going to do things. We are going to replace the systems that we see that are not serving us. We're just going to do it ourselves. And that shows other people what is possible. And that is how you actually get change. Again, I am not a doomer. I am not trying to discourage people by saying that protest doesn't do anything, even though it is discouraging. Because if you think that's the way that things are going to change, then of course it's discouraging to hear someone say, that's not it, honey. But it's the truth, right? We're trying to get to where we actually are in reality. We're trying to really face our conditions and be able to change them. And that starts with acknowledging that what you have thought is the best way to engage may not be. Maybe you got to take it a step further. And again, I'm not being ableist. I'm not suggesting that everyone has to interact in the same way. And also, I'm acknowledging that some people should engage in more dangerous activities than others because they are inherently less imperiled by the system. And I also want to invite you to consider another thing. If the vulture class really just thinks of all of us and of basically the world as their playthings, as their pawns, then isn't law enforcement just a cost of doing business for them? They know that at a certain point they're going to go too far and people are going to stand up and say, we don't like this. And so they figure that in. So law enforcement is just another line item in their daily invoices. When I say they are ready for our protests, but they are not ready for other types of actions, that's what I mean. Creating parallel systems while divesting from the current systems is a whole different thing than asking them to be nice. In this moment, at this time, this is when the most of us can see just how fucked up our government is, how much they're going to go ahead with their own plans, regardless of what we think. And so this is the best time for us to take all the lessons we have learned from the 2014, from 2020, from all the times where we have, taken to the streets, right? We need to take that further and actually set up, as I've said before, an infrastructure of resistance. And that infrastructure of resistance, showing people what is possible, showing people what we could have if we just built it, that's actually how you get change. Because people, when they see a way out, when they see that people are already doing the work, they're willing to come along. People are just scared because if all of they know of this system is vote and then maybe protest, well, that's it. That's all they've got in their toolbook. All they've got in their head is, I called my Congress people. What else can I do? And the answer is so much, so much. And those things are the things that are left out of these stories of struggle, right? They are left out of the stories of struggle because the people who are in power don't want it recognized that what got things to change was not just the big bombastic actions, but the millions of people behind each of those actions who were supporting them in various ways, by spending certain ways, by not spending certain ways, by building new things, by supporting each other, by creating community. And that community should be online and it should be offline. It should be both. Don't let anyone tell you that online organizing is not valid, because it is. And that's actually why the right wing is so much further ahead than we are. We are seeing what a propaganda machine, what an information machine does to people. So stay loud, keep fighting, and diversify your understanding of what it means to fight back. Real resistance, not hashtag resistance. This could be the moment that everything changes. We could be the people that do that. And that's what I want. That's why I say anything that I say. I don't believe in this country, but I believe in my neighbors. I believe in the people who I see. I believe in y'all. I believe in myself. And this country is just an idea. And it's an idea who is owned by certain people. And it's not us.